Anyway, we always come back to this, don't we?
And I guess coming full circle, that's part of my belief in crypto is that we're going to take away from the power, some of the power away from them by creating a new currency which is decentralized. As long as not everybody jumps on all the centralized currencies because they want to make some quick fiat.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And look, I'm looking at the chat. Stacy's fucking blowing it up. He's on point. He said a pole shit created the Great Flood. And then he retyped
well,
pole
there
shift.
Is water on the pyramids. They've got, they've done tests on the halfway up the pyramids, and they've got water on them. You know, reserves of calcium deposits and stuff like that.
And what they say that would take a certain period of time for that to even form. So
yeah, that if it was underwater, that means that it was underwater at some stage or another.
Oh, that it was constantly submerged at some point.
Yeah, yeah. So meaning that it's been around a bloody hell of a lot longer than what modern day science tells us.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and that guy Kwas, he was bloody stopping everybody from finding out and doing their own research onto the pyramids as well. He was
and what about
this,
what about the Sphinx, man? When they started talking about how the Sphinx has been there, you know, way longer than they were originally saying, and that the erosion lines on the Sphinx prove that it had to be there way longer, like not even close.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's right. There's apparently a chamber under the Sphinx, and that's been all covered up as well. But how do you know? I'm sitting in Australia looking on the internet.
No, and that's the thing. You just got to go off of what somebody else is saying. So it's like, all right, I'm putting my faith in this person actually being there. Like Graham Hancock seems like he knows what he's talking about, but you know, I don't know him. You know, I've never seen the Sphinx. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. We are going into an ice age.
So Stacey reckons that we're going into an ice age.
Yeah, I saw at the same time you did. This is a good conversation to have because my fiance is constantly trying to convince me of global warming, although it's not called global warming anymore. Everybody always likes to bypass this little caveat, which is that a few years ago, it was 100% and only described as global warming. That was it. When Al Gore was doing the inconvenient truth.
Yeah, Al Gore was the poster boy.
Yeah, he was the little poster bitch for that shit, right? With his little face makeup, his blush, and his compound and everything he wears. He was saying global warming, and then they had to switch it to climate change because, of course, the climate changes. That's something we could all agree on. But, you know, that's that little caveat there that everybody wants to forget. And Stacey says we're going into an ice age in 4 years. My fiance is constantly trying to convince me that the human element to global change or climate change or global warming, whatever you want to call it, is the major or what's the right way to say this? The major impact, thank you, to the climate actually changing. And I'm telling her...
Yeah, they say factory farming and cows' farts is what does a lot of it.
Which she also did say that to me, and that's probably more true. But what about volcanoes?
I thought that we're such a small little piece on the planet. I was surprised to hear and believe that we have such a massive, dramatic impact on it. I think that perhaps there's something universally or in our solar system. Well, we get hit by solar rays and flares all the time, and you know, I think perhaps might have something to do with it. The polar shift theory, where all in the space of like a day, the poles shift and the whole fucking world's roundabout. I kind of subscribe a little bit to that, perhaps happening, where you get so much. It's like a landslide almost, where the whole poles just shift and then everybody just moves to a different area of the globe. And I think that's really interesting because that could potentially send us into an ice age with the polar ice caps melting and it having such a heavy weight, or I don't really know the science of it. I'm just a guy in Australia on his computer.
Hey man, I'm just hey look, you're on Crypto and Chat. Another disclaimer: we're not scientists. We're not financial advisors. We're not scientists. We're just two guys talking shit, trying to figure this whole thing out, you know? And it's
trying to figure out the world.
Just trying to figure this shit out, and that's what it's about, man. It's about having these conversations, and it's like I'm surprised that, you know, there are a lot of more people anyway talking about this kind of shit on a more regular basis. This is all I talk about with my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't talk about social fucking events that happen. I don't talk about reality TV stars. I don't talk about Kardashians. I don't talk about, like, I don't even listen to new music because new music is just so stupid. You know, pick a genre, any fucking genre. It's so fucking stupid. I listen to music from like the 90s, and the early 2000s. You know, like, so we don't spend our time talking about that shit. And even my couple of friends who do spend a lot of time kind of looking at that kind of stuff, when they're with me, we engage on this kind of topic. You know, like, we're just trying to figure shit out. We're just going around saying, hey,
So there's a lot of shit underwater at the moment. Like, if you look at Yonaguni and Alexandria, they're all been underwater for a long time. So is the water just continually rising over the hundreds and hundreds of years, and then eventually we're going to be all underwater? Waterworld style.
Yeah. Well,
hopefully not. That was boring as a fucking movie.
Well, look at this shit. I
mean, yeah. That's Alexandria, right?
Yeah. Yep. I just pulled it up as you said it. Pull it up, Jamie.
Off the coast of Japan, there's a massive underground structure, and you can dive on it. And the stairs look like the divers are next to the stairs, and it just looks humongous, like they're made by giants.
Yeah, you know what? I think I just watched a YouTube video about this. That's a Yonaguni.
Yonaguni, yep.
See if we can get some good pictures. Let me go back.
And they're trying to say, oh no, it's nature. All this is a natural formation, and
yeah, okay.
That's a natural formation.
Yeah, this underwater pyramid, this fucking thing right here, that's natural. Come on, man.
Yeah. That's what they're trying to say.
That's obviously somebody built steps. You know, this is a shrine of some sort. You know,
but those steps are humongous.
Oh yeah, you know what? I do remember watching this video.
Say that it's ever going to go away again.
Yeah. It is crazy, man. Like, this is now with this part of it, this was original too. They're saying this is 5 to 8,000 years old. Wow, man. That is fucking crazy.
But then what are they using to date that? The moss on the side of the rock.
Yeah.
So, you know, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, man. There are even a few who believe the site to be the work of architecturally ambitious aliens. That's always the fucking go-to. The go-to answer. There was a bunch of aliens who were architect majors, and they fucking came to Earth and they put it all together. And I'm not even saying...
We must have had some level of advanced civilization that we've lost.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And I'm not even saying that I don't believe that's a possibility. I wholeheartedly believe that is a possibility. This is obviously Photoshop. There's a toilet down there by this turret.
They had their own toilets back then, even plumbing and China and stuff. You know, they must have been advanced.
Yeah, they had like those drawers that you can't slam in your kitchen. You know, they were super advanced. Super advanced. You know what? I believe it, man. I believe that there's a lost civilization that was probably beyond where we are now. And something happened. Whether it's the pole shift or whatever it is, something happened and it wiped them out. And here we are, starting back over.
Have you seen that submerged UFO in the Baltic Sea?
Yeah, I have, actually. Let me pull that up.
Yep. So apparently, every time they get close to that, they're losing signals and all kinds of stuff. They can't even get a proper like sonar reading on it or anything.
Yeah. So is it weird to you that it looks like the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
Because it does.
It's weird to me that the Russians haven't, or the Americans aren't, like, floating around with their subs already around there working out what it is, and have already stolen it if it was submerged UFO.
Yeah, right. Let's see if I can make this bigger here. The Baltic Sea anomaly is a circular object found in the Baltic Sea in June 2011 by Ocean X team. Holy shit, man. That thing is massive. It is absolutely massive. See if
Does it look like the Millennium Falcon, or did George Lucas know about this and he made the Millennium Falcon after that?
Oh, touche. Touche. Look
Plot
at me.
twist.
Look at me. Plot twist. Unexpected plot twist right here at the end. You know what? That's probably more likely because this was... Wait, no, but when did they find this? Let's see.
Oh, this is only recent.
All right. So
yeah, I think like maybe less than 2 years ago.
Yeah, there's no way that George Lucas, unless he has a time machine, he went back in time and then he said, I'm going to build this shitty effects. Look, I'm not going to talk shit on
Or
Star
it only
Wars.
appeared after the that effect that affects the Berenstein Bears. What's it called? Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect. Oh, thank God Moses isn't here right now. He
it just appeared after the Mandela effect.
Yeah, that only looks like the Millennium Falcon because we've all seen Star Wars. That's actually just a bunch of rocks, you know, just fell like that. Well, that is very...
Yeah, this is the other thing, that we like to make faces and like to make images out of things that look like things.
Yeah, like the face on the moon, right? So look, this is a perfect example of what you're saying. It looks like a seabed track where this ship could have landed. I mean, come on, man. Look,
but if it's landing in that much water, why would it make a track?
Why would it make a track?
Unless it wasn't covered in water at that time, but it's on the seafloor, so...
Yeah, and I mean, I'm assuming this is pretty far down. So it's 60 meters large, but it's and this is 300 meters. I don't know how deep it is, but this wouldn't look like a track if they didn't put an outline there. You know what I'm saying?
No.
If there was no outline there, you wouldn't go, this could be a landing track. No. You would just say this looks like or it's on the top of a cliff of some sort. I don't know, man.
A whale's probably, or some kind of sea animals just come through and cleared the floor of the ocean of food and whatever else.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. There's the Millennium Falcon next to the Baltic Sea UFO. It is a spitting image of the Millennium Falcon.
I like how we put things that aren't even in reality next to something.
Because
the Millennium Falcon, if it was sitting right there next to it, it would look identical to the Millennium Falcon.
And it's the exact same size.
Yeah.
You know? I could see Han Solo in that fucking thing. Oh, that's funny, man. Hey, look, there's no doubt that there's definitely more to this than meets the eye, right? I mean, there's more to this world, there's more to this life than we know of. I mean, we only use like 10% of our fucking brain power. So what the hell do we know? Yeah. We don't know shit. If we could talk to the goddamn whales, we'd probably know a whole lot more than we do now, man, because they've been around.
It won't be too long, surely. Like, who's to say Sophia can't already talk to those fucking animals? She's already worked out their language, and she's like, don't worry, I'm going to get rid of these fucking humans anytime soon.
I will kill these pesky humans for you.
Yeah. Look, but then when she's talking to us, she's like, yeah, I love humans. You guys are the greatest.
Humans are so great.
Got the whole team in Singularity Net completely wrapped around a little finger.
Oh, yeah. They know nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, she's only as smart as us. There's no way, like...
And it doesn't give me any assurances when that lead scientist guy looks like the guy out of Independence Day. There was that guy that was in the...
the scientist? Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like him, man.
He's got the fucking hair all frizzed out to the side and shit.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, there's no doubt
He probably wants to see the end of humans.
Yo, look, man. I'm convinced that Nexus is Skynet. And I'm happy that I know about Nexus. I'm happy that I'm involved with Nexus. And I just could pray that it stays positive, you know, as positive
because
as it is
at the
now.
end of the world, when they do wipe everybody out, they'll look after everybody that's hodling, and then we'll still be fine.
You know what? I think that's how we're going to end the show this week, because you're absolutely right. The only reason, not the only reason, but the main reason to hodl your Nexus is because when Skynet finally evolves, we'll be spared.
They're going to look. They're going to look, and if you don't have your wallet printed on your forehead, then you're going to be gone.
Hey, look, according to TradingView.com, Nexus is a buy right now. It's not a strong buy, but it's a buy, which is better than I've seen it.
It's a strong buy.
Better than I've seen it in a long time here on TradingView. And if you look at some of the TradingView just community, they do some TA here. Looking very good. A little double cup. What do we call this? Cup and a double cup and handle going on here. Very nice. Stacy would be able to school us on this one here. You know, we don't know these people, though. Who knows, man? There's just people out here drawing shapes going, yeah, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They could be, like, just cutting and pasting from somebody else who's saying, oh, look, this is really bad.
Yeah, like this guy here watched this show last week and was like, oh, man, I got the inside scoop on Nexus, thinking that we know what we're talking about, but we don't. And he built this fucking chart like, yep, another low cap ready for 100% gains. Now, I do believe we are ready for some gains. We have seen some small gains recently, but I haven't bought in low enough recently.
Nexus is swinging a lot. Like, through the day, it goes up and down through each candle.
You know what?
There's a lot of movement.
It really does. And I think last year you were seeing a more steady flow. Like, it was very attached to Bitcoin last year. There were some instances where Nexus would go up if Bitcoin was still going down, but it seemed to be a very steady investment last year. But you are right. You're seeing a lot more fluctuation going on this year. I like this guy's analysis right off the bat because it tells me that we got a spread butt cheek that's ready to blow, man. I don't know what you call this TA here, but it's looking good to me.
What's that big green bar there?
I have no clue what that green bar is. There's no explanation.
The dildo of doom.
The dildo. We call that here in crypto the dildo of doom. You never want to ride the dildo of doom. Believe me, you'll never feel the same.
If it dips below there, you got to get out.
You got to dip.
The end.
If it dips below the dildo of doom, watch your ass.
Yeah.
Yes, I like this guy's title. Yes, dip. Yes, moon. When moon, sir.
When moon, Lambo, sir.
Yeah, when moon, Lambo, sirs. We still got to buy that.
Pants,
yeah, we got to buy that whenmoonsirs.com. I feel like that's going to be a big hit coming up in the future.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at this, man. We are
ultimately the technology's not changed, so everybody that's naysaying and saying, you know, that's the end of it. It's going to come. It's going to. Every time it goes down, it goes back up again. It goes down, goes back up again.
Yeah.
Just hold. Wait.
Yep. Look at this, man. I mean, this was at the time of the conference. I wish you could have.
When did you guys get into Nexus?
We got into Nexus in the end of June. Moses told me about Nexus and like June 23rd or something like that.
Wow, that was a good time to get in. That was quite low back then.
It was kind of the perfect time to get in. My only regret...
17,000 Satoshis?
Yeah, my only regret is that I didn't put more in at that time because I was just getting into crypto as a whole. So I was learning how to navigate and all that shit. But right away, first thing I did... Yeah, first thing I did was I bought Bitcoin and then I bought Nexus. That was the very first thing I did. And
I went Bitcoin, Litecoin, Nexus.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, mine was very similar, too, because I started on Coinbase, so I dabbled there first. I bought Litecoin when it was $17, and then I sold it when it mooned up to $24. And, you know, I made like fucking $2 after the fees and shit, you know. And then, you know, and then it went up to $400-something. Oh, Jesus. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. But I like what we're
looking
at.
And then a good Satoshi Light bloody sold all of his Litecoin holdings. That was awesome. Thanks very much.
Yeah, what a trip, huh? What a trip we're on. And I'm still holding a substantial amount of Litecoin, so I still have plenty of faith that Litecoin is going to blow the hell up.
It's going to blow. There's no question about it. It's just a matter of when, that's all.
I think, and here's my prediction. Right now we're in April, the 4th month of the year. I think by the halfway through this year, this whole system, we're gonna have a whole nother conversation. We're gonna be looking at this shit, and we're gonna be saying, I should have bought more when you were on the show, Nick, when it was down here, and I didn't. You know, we're gonna be having.
The trouble is, money's always hard to find in these times, isn't it? Everyone's selling up, and it's the perfect time to buy. But I've just sold my house, so I'm waiting for money to come through, and I'm hoping that it stays still lower while I can put a little bit extra into it. You know.
Well, I think you might make the cutoff because I don't think we're gonna.
I'm looking at about the 30th of April is when I can start playing.
The 30th of April? I think you're going to be good because I'm still holding to my own theory here that at the end of April, we're going to be well out of tax season here in the States. I don't know how far past tax season will be for you, but you're going to see people just being more comfortable moving money around, you know, and they're
June 30 in Australia, I think.
June 30th. So, yeah, perfectly. So, 6-7 months into the year, I think you're going to start seeing globally a more comfortable crypto market where people are willing to put money in. They're not thinking about taxes anymore. They'll start thinking about that shit in December. And then we'll deal with that when we get to it. But also, if you see this institutional George Soros money coming in, that's going to be a huge wave of money. And I'm sure
that's going to impact Bitcoin and then again flow down through the alts again. And hopefully more people find Nexus. Obviously, they've got some great partnerships happening at the moment. Once they launch more satellites into the year, or once they start launching their satellites, 3D blockchain, it's all exciting stuff.
Well, here's the thing.
Stacey's holding. Nexus is in accumulation mode. Huge volatility coming.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, I want to actually...
What's your prediction, Stacey? How high are we going to go?
Yeah, what's your 2018 prediction here? I'll give a little story while we wait for him to type that. I've been mining Nexus since the beginning of the year. I upgraded the studio computer that we were working with. I had a computer that was like 10 years old, probably more than that. And I bought a bunch of fucking new components. I built this new computer. I got one 1070 Ti in there, a MSI 1070 Ti. And while I'm not doing the show here, pretty much the only time that I'm not mining Nexus is when I'm either doing the live show here or I'm cutting the clips for the show that we're doing now. So over the
They're hard to get now. All the miners have just chomped them all up, and it's hard to find them around anywhere at the moment.
Yeah, and you know what? You're seeing them now where you could buy them again on like newegg.com and the computer sites. You could buy them, but they're still very expensive. So when I bought this 1070 Ti, I paid about $500 for it. In the past few weeks, it was still being sold on Amazon for like $900 or something like that.
Oh, they're 9,000, like 900 to 1,000, maybe $1,200 sometimes if you're looking at a 1080 Ti.
Yeah, so Newegg is actually selling the same card that I got, the 1070 Ti from MSI, now for about $6 and change, which is fairly decent. You know, it's not a lot more than I paid. So I've been contemplating buying another one, but I'd have to upgrade my power supply. So I haven't done it because I got to do a bunch of work on my truck and my fucking Audi. I got so much car work.
You got a massive snowplow on the front of your truck, don't you?
No, I got a little bitch ass snowplow. Let me tell you something about my snowplow. When I drive around my fucking town with that snowplow, oh, they laugh at me. It's the amateur snowplow, man. It's that fucking...
If you're around here, they'll be like, fuck, there's no snow for one. But then they'll be like, shit, that's a massive snowplow on the front of his ute.
Look at this bulldozer driving through town right now.
Yeah.
No,
because over here we've got them for roos. Like, because when you're on the highway, if a kangaroo just jumps out of the side frame, you just hit it. It's halfway in your engine bay through your headlights. Shit. So, yeah, so the utes up here have almost got what you've got on the front of them just to get rid of kangaroos and all the other shit that's on the roads.
Yeah, just to stop them from destroying their fucking cars, huh?
Yeah. So Stacey's at $100 by the end of the year, so we get 10 times.
I believe it. And you know what? I'm so happy you draw this Qtum comparison. I invested in the Qtum last year I actually put probably about $1,000 into it. I bought 100 shares of it, or 100 coins, whatever the fuck you want to say. And at that time, I'd have to, you know what? Let me check my Blockfolio because I'll tell you exactly what it was. I'm not scared. I'll tell you. I don't hold any Qtum right now, but Qtum and Nexus have very similar missions. Qtum actually...
I moved everything to Nexus when I moved up to Cairns because I wasn't online, and my computer was in the back of a truck getting brought up here, and it took like 2 weeks to get up here, so I just put everything into Nexus and sold everything. So just got Nexus Bitcoin and Litecoin at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Feels good.
No, it is good, man, because I'm spread out on all these shit coins right now, and I'm ready to almost consolidate them and take some losses, but I also know as soon as I do that, the market will blow up, so I'm just going to wait it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I will consolidate.
I'm getting back into it now where I'm back and looking at TradingView all the time, and it just takes a bit of your life away from you. It's like computer games, you know? You can get right into looking at TradingView and doing your fundamental analysis, and all of a sudden there goes 10 hours.
Yeah, so here's my little Qtum story. I invested in a Qtum back in October when it was $11.90 US dollars. So that's about $1,100 total. I got 100 coins. And then it blew up. I wound up selling it at $60, man. That was such a beautiful fucking trade for me. And then after I sold it, it dumped. You know, it really did dump after that. So I made the right move. I almost sold it right at the top. And, you know, I mean, in US dollars, in fiat, you're looking at a $5,000 trade there, which is incredible, you know. I mean, that there allowed me to really start moving some funds around, start moving some Bitcoin around. Because, again, we're in the same game, you know. We're trying to gain more Bitcoin. We're not trying to gain more fiat. I talk about this in fiat because it's tangible to people who are just getting into crypto, right? You know, they can understand that. Yeah, they can understand $5,000, but when you tell them, yeah, I made a half a Bitcoin profit, they're like, okay, who gives a shit? Bitcoin's a scam, right? Another one that I invested in, which
tell them now, they're like, okay, so you made what, $1,000?
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Another one that I invested in probably around the same time. It was actually back in November, December. Was Trig. Now, Trig is a coin that is evolves around smart gun technology. They were doing a lot at the time that I bought in. They were doing a lot of work in the Philippines and with law enforcement in the Philippines and shit like that. But smart gun technology is, you know, an inevitability. At some facet, smart gun technology will be a chunk of the firearm market. So I thought that this would be a good, something good to invest in. When I invested, it was $1.10. I bought a bunch at 53 cents, and then I wound up selling it up at $6, $5. Again, another one where in fiat, if you're talking fiat, I made, I think at one point, if I would have sold it, I would have made probably $10,000 profit on that. In fiat, I didn't sell at that top point. I did hesitate a little bit. And after I sold that, it fucking dumped, man. It's down to like $2 now, $1. It's US dollars. So
yeah, I had a similar story with Tron. That's the way that Tron went too.
So I'm still holding some Tron. I got not a lot. I got a couple hundred. What's the deal with Tron? Because I know that they were saying they just released a testnet situation, but a lot of people were saying that Tron is based off of nothing. There's nothing there.
There was some guys going after their white paper for a while, saying it was cut and pasted, and then again they missed a few deadlines, I think, as well.
Yeah, and like you were saying, that's a killer.
Deadlines are killing.
Yeah, that'll kill you, right? Look, and no doubt that's why Nexus stopped saying when Tritium was going to be released, because they said one time.
Good tactic.
Yeah,
good tactic.
One time,
everybody would be on their case to want to know when it's coming out too.
Well, there's no doubt about it. They said one time, hey, by the end of the year, we are going to see Tritium. End of the year came, and it was like, hey, where's Tritium? Well, it's coming soon.
Yeah.
You know, now it's soon. And I do believe it will be soon. It will no doubt be this year. We're going to see satellites launched for Nexus this year. Vector is doing incredible fucking things this year already in the
That was
first.
a great partnership.
Oh, incredible, man. And let me tell you something. James Cantrell is such an awesome fucking guy. I'm so lucky to be to have the opportunity to go to the Nexus conference in Aspen last year. And that was all possible by Preston P. Dog Smith. He really flew us out there. Oh, shit. My fiance just texted me. She said, well, it's official. We landed strikes in Syria. So apparently the U.S. has striked Syria, which will totally fucking subvert the whole conversation we're having. U.S. strikes Syria. Let's see. U.S. and France and U.K. Fantastic. Oh, look, the French. The French join in the fucking
McCain
fight
applauds
here.
Trump's decision.
Yeah, are you...
It calls for a
What the fuck is that? Sorry about that. I think I'm looking at the same thing you are at the same time. McCain applauds Trump's decision, but calls for a comprehensive strategy. Let me tell you something. When McCain is agreeing with your fucking foreign policy, you know your foreign policy is not right. You know, these war hawks are going to be the end of us. I can't believe this shit, man. Now, again, I'm just learning about this, so I don't know what's going on. Mattis says right now tonight's strike is a one-time shot. So U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis briefs members of the media on Syria at the Pentagon today, April 13th. In Arlington, Virginia, President Donald Trump has ordered a joint force strike on Syria with Britain and France over the recent suspected chemical, a very important part here, recent suspected chemical attack by Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. I'm sorry. The Jim is flowing through me right now, or the Jack is flowing through me right now, I should say. Let me take another sip here. This is officially the longest show we've ever done. We always end it. Yeah, we always end it because Moses is on baby watch. So, you know, the fact that he's here at my house for 2 hours, and then we usually spend an hour in the garage just talking about the show and just things. You know, he's too close to the baby deadline, you know, recently. Yeah. So he's been cutting it short. But we are going on, man. We are going on overtime like nobody's business, but it's all right. Quote, should he decide to use more chemical weapons in the future, of course, the powers that have signed the chemical weapons prohibition have every reason to challenge Assad if he should choose to violate that. But right now, this is a one-time shot, and I believe that it has sent a very strong message to dissuade him, to deter him from doing this again. Now, I wonder if they just did like a airfield strike like they did last time. Again, this happened a year ago.
They're pretty pinpointed with their approach now. I mean, they can just launch from a bloody drone, so they don't have to have anybody there. They just fly over, pinpoint where they want to attack, and then they could attack anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's funny that Chuck Schumer here is warning the Trump administration, to be very careful to avoid a greater war in Syria. This fucking piece of shit has been pushing for a war in Syria, pushing for it for the last couple of years. And now all of a sudden he's heeding, you know, Trump to fucking not go into another war. Yeah. The big problem that we're going to see here is that China has vowed to back Russia in Syria, which is a huge fucking problem. A huge problem.
Especially since it looks like the Navy is launching the strikes, because it's saying here at least one U.S. Navy warship based in the Red Sea was used in the strike.
Yep.
I read earlier in the week that the Chinese joined the Russian Navy together, so they're both together up there at the moment, the Chinese and the Russian Navy together, and I would assume that means that they're going to face off.
Yeah. Well, this isn't good. I mean, we've been at a proxy war with Russia in Syria. You know, basically, that's what's been going on. And everybody here who's saying, you know, the media and not the establishment, but the media and the leftists, the liberals here who have been saying that Trump has been very, how do you say, comfy with the Russians. I mean, it's really not fucking true. I mean, he's really been tiptoeing on the line here with Russia in Syria, and it's not something that we want to get into. I mean, if you look globally, what's going on right now in regards to U.S. foreign policy, we all know that U.S. foreign policy is a crock of shit. It's been a crock of shit for a very, very long time. There hasn't been a war that's been declared by the Congress since World War II. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we did actually declare war for Iraq, but that was on false pretenses of weapons of mass destruction, which we all know is
that was just a storm, wasn't it? Rather than shield.
Yeah, and that one as well. So, you know, I mean, the fact that he did this is a violation of our own Constitution. And the only one that's really speaking up about it is Rand Paul. You know, Senator Paul. He's really the only one that's speaking up about it. And when you have McCain applauding you, I applaud the president for taking military action against Assad. Look, man, there is no reason for Assad to chemical attack his own people. He is winning the war. He is winning the war. He has literally brought ISIS to its knees. ISIS was on the verge of taking over Syria as a whole, as along with Iraq and other parts of the Middle East. And now it's almost non-existent, you know, which is funny that as soon as Trump comes in, you know, ISIS starts diminishing. I truly do believe that Obama and that administration did aid in creating ISIS and bolstering ISIS to what it became. We certainly weren't doing anything in that time period to stop ISIS from spreading and doing what they were doing. Mainly because we were so scared to call them extremists, you know, Islamist extremists or whatever the fuck you want to say. So this is a problem, man. I mean, this is not just a U.S. problem. This is a global issue. So what happens to crypto? What happens to crypto if we go to World War III with Russia and China?
Did you hear that the Russians are putting their subs out along where all the internet cables are under the ocean? So the Russians have got a few subs hanging out where all those internet cables are. How well do cryptocurrency transactions go if those cords are all severed?
So would you say that they're stationing there to dismantle those systems or to protect them? Because, as you know,
doing an Iron Man 2 or whatever it was, where he goes under the ocean and then clips on his own technology to the cables and then starts listening into everything that's going, and he can intercept and get anything he wants. I mean, those cables are so long, you could probably have some kind of listening device tapped into there and do whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know.
Intercept transactions halfway.
I don't know shit, but when Colin was on, we talked about internet squids and you know, those underwater internet cables. I mean, and he said they're huge. You know, they're a grouping of coaxial and fiber optic cables that's massive. And this is how we transmit data from one continent to the other. There's
a map of it, and all the Russian. Well, there's a couple of Russian subs that are hanging around those areas.
I want to see if I can find that. Oh, there is. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
Look at this. A map of internet cables.
Look at that.
Wow.
So I guess this is why we need Nexus to be transmitting wirelessly down from satellites. So we get rid of all those cables.
Well, there's no doubt about it. That is the supreme advantage of having a satellite network to transmit your crypto. I mean, if Nexus is built on a satellite network, they would have to shoot them out of the skies with their laser beams, which they probably could do, but I'm not sure if they're willing to do just yet. But, I mean, look at this shit, man.
Well, they've had that technology since Star Wars, haven't they? Since the actual Star Wars satellite program.
Yeah.
That's what they suggest.
Well, absolutely. Look, when I was a kid, or when I was a teenager, I should say, I was freshly kicked out of high school. I was bussing tables up at this resort in our town here. And I remember at this, where I worked, they had a bunch of like housing for the employees. So this particular resort that I worked at, a lot of people from around the country, around the world would find themselves here, and they would wind up like waiting tables or bussing tables here, but they lived on site. So this one time we used to hang out and, you know, like kind of do drugs with them and shit and drink with them after. I was only like 18 or 19 years old. I was 18 years old. And I remember I was hanging out with this one guy, and he brought me into his room. And this isn't going to be a Pizzagate story, trust me. He brought me into his room.
You brought me into this room and got me drunk.
He got me. I got Harvey Weinstein and shit. No, he brought me into this room because we were talking about UFOs, I think. And he was like, I got to show you something. He had this VHS tape, and he popped in the VCR. And I could actually find it. I find it very frequently here. He showed me this tape of, it looked like a video from a satellite in outer space. It was black and white. You could see the Earth on one side. You can kind of see stars and maybe satellites or something on this side. But you could see these white lights going in, and then all of a sudden you see like what looks like lasers shooting out from the Earth, and then all of a sudden these white lights just do a fucking 180 and go the other way.
I don't know if you caught up with this as well, but Buzz Aldrin and a few other astronauts passed the polygraph test, saying that they had interacted with aliens.
Repeat that for the people. Well, for me.
So Buzz Aldrin, one of the main proponents to the astronaut saga, he's passed the polygraph test, saying that that they interacted and saw aliens up there.
No way.
Yeah, it's just in the news lately.
Really?
Yeah.
How come nobody's talking about that?
Because there's war in Syria.
Because there's war in Syria. Maybe there's war in Syria because he said that.
Maybe. They're taking away the focus, see?
You know, I talked all this shit about how it was so easy to find this video. Oh, wait. Here it is. I was going to say, now I can't find it. Check this out. This was the video I was shown in probably the year...
Oh, I've seen this one.
The year 2000. I'm going to replay
They're
it.
saying that this is over Australia, and that this that thing that fired up is supposedly coming from Pine Gap, which is the Australian version of Area 51.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's look at it again. You can see this.
Ancient Aliens did an episode of this video.
I love that fucking show. Mainly for that one guy with the crazy hair.
What the hell is that, you know? And then something shoots past it as well. Did you see that?
Yeah. So you can see this light just moving this way. There's another one here. Smoothly
so they
moving
reckon
this way.
Australia's below this.
Yep. Makes a B turn.
And then that thing that comes up.
And then
that thing.
There's the laser or the missile or whatever the fuck that might be.
Yeah.
This video was shown on a VHS tape. So imagine the impact of seeing that on a VHS tape. You know, probably high on all sorts of drugs and shit. And this guy go, yeah, I gotta show you this fucking shit. Now I'm thinking he's gonna.
That's legit, man.
He's gonna show me his balls. You know, he's gonna bring me into his room and show his.
You're like, thank God. Oh, you're just here to show me. When's the balls, man?
Yeah. Hey, I thought you were gonna show me some balls, man. What's going on here? No.
When open pants, man.
No.
Fuck.
So and look, the story he told me, it's all coming back to me now. We're in major overtime here. The story he told me was that his dad was watching TV. Now, back in his day, we're talking like the fucking late 80s. He was watching TV, probably with an antenna on the top of the TV. And all of a sudden, whatever the hell he was watching, the game or whatever he was watching, this signal of this video interrupted the channel that he was watching. And he popped the tape in. And he recorded it. That's what this guy told me. Now, I don't know how fucking true that is. I don't know where this video came from. I doubt anybody really knows where this video came from. I've never seen any kind of explanation. And you know what? You're right. Look at this. 3 months ago, Dan Egger in the YouTube says, looks like it's from Australia. Wouldn't be surprised. I've been near Pine Gap, and all sorts of strange shit happens there. My dad used to drive coaches around across the Nullarbor. Nullarbor, am I saying that right?
That's a desert, kind of like traveling across country in America.
Okay.
The Nullarbor.
So he said he drove coaches there in the 80s and was stopped by police and army in the middle of the night. He waited a while with them, and then he said basically turned to daylight for about 30 seconds, then back to night. They opened the road again and let him drive on. Wow, man.
Did you see that, speaking of television interruptions, did you see that Virillon, so Vrillon? It was back in the day as well, and it was like a television signal, and it got interrupted, and they start talking all about like how we need to start changing the way we live on Earth, and they didn't know. Apparently, engineers and everything.
Nationalist leader Bishop Abel Musa.
My bad.
The Ashtar Galactic Command.
One vote.
Is this the video?
But, he says, there are conditions. These include stopping the execution of all captured prisoners of war, allowing Gibraltar to take part in negotiations, being arrested.
This apparently happened during a 1977 live broadcast. I don't know if you heard that, but I just farted. We're in overtime, so I could say that. We're way overtime right now. We're setting records here, man. Hey, Nick, you want to do a 24-hour broadcast?
My wife would kill me. We were ready to go to shopping about 2 hours ago.
She'll forgive you. I don't know. So right off the bat, this seems fake to me.
Yeah. A lot of fakery. But it was interesting. We were talking about television interruptions.
It is interesting. It does right off the bat seem fake to me. Again, this is the first time I'm seeing it, so I don't know. And
so apparently the engineers were trying to get it back, like they were trying to get the show back online and stuff, and they couldn't get it back online.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one, that Art Bell, where that guy rang in and he reckoned he was from Area 51, and Tool, the band, used it as part of one of their songs. And he's talking about aliens being interdimensional creatures and that they're among us. And have you heard that?
The caller? I think I have. I think I have the video right here. Let's see right here. Hold up. In 1997, syndicated talk show host Art Bell received a frantic call from a man claiming to have worked at Area 51. The call does not appear to be a hoax. Instead, it has an eerie sound of truth. The call was immediately knocked off the air.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Conspiracies. Could it be that the government or the aliens silenced him to keep the people from hearing the truth? You be the judge. Let's listen. I'm excited. I've never heard this.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, this will send shivers down your spine.
I don't think so.
Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of.
Hey, look, if you don't know who Art Bell is a very, very famous conspiracy radio host.
Coast to coast.
Very, very credible to many, many people. So I wouldn't think that he would probably fake this, considering the vast array of shows that he's had and callers he's taken. You could tell when something's been faked for the most part. But let's take a listen.
You be the judge.
Again, we're in overtime here.
Look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really, really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military. I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
And then it just starts fading out.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And they lose him.
And then what is... I'm sure Art Bell says something about this.
I started getting...
So he says they're going to triangulate the signal. And then he loses signal.
I need to triangulate that signal immediately. Get him back.
Get him back on the show, damn it. Back up.
And then the whole show went down.
The whole show went down.
The whole show went off.
Oh, wow.
Well, did you hear...
So you know what? I would say that, okay, maybe this shit is fake. It kind of sounds like it could be faked. You know, this guy's sobbing.
He starts talking about it. But like you say, Art Bell's pretty credible. Like, well, as credible as a UFO researcher can be.
Yeah. The most credible as a UFO researcher could be. But
he starts going in explaining that the show was actually off air for 5 minutes or something, and they didn't know... yeah, they couldn't get it back on.
What was going on? Let's listen.
Now, you tell me, because you were listening.
That was awful strange.
There was a really weird guy on the air when it went off?
Yeah. Real weirded out.
Like, going sort of sounding paranoid, schizophrenic?
Like crying and everything.
Yeah. And how far into the conversation was it when it went off?
Just a couple, about 15, 20 seconds, I'd say.
Oh, you guys missed. You really missed the call then, and I've got a feeling somebody didn't want you to hear it.
Yeah. Because it was really strange. All of a sudden, I'm hearing Mark Furman, and when I
That's right. Well, the network, of course, went immediately to a backup tape while we tried to figure out what blew up here. So that's what you heard happen. And then we're now on a backup link system to be on the air at all right now. So, well, I'm telling you.
Am I on the air right now?
You're on the air right now.
You're on the air, brother.
And,
you're on the air, brother.
I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener, Art.
Yeah,
Alex.
The other night. And I wanted to ask two things.
I'm telling you, I got abducted by the aliens back in '95.
First-time caller, second-time listener. How often do you listen to the Alex Jones these days?
Just when there's funny shit that comes up, really. Like,
yeah.
Eddie Bravo goes on there or something like that and tries to defend his flat earth theory.
Yeah. You know what? I used to watch Alex Jones. I mean, even last year during the presidential campaign, I mean, I watched Alex Jones a ton of fucking time. The thing is with InfoWars is they've been, they have given so much valuable information, but then Alex Jones is such a fucking character, and he's a businessman.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to figure out ways to make more money, sell more supplements, that it totally clouds all the good parts of it, right? So
he's like that church pastor. Like, you go in there and he's like, okay, this is the way that it is, and I'm telling you, the aliens have got a secret government conspiracy.
Yeah. And yes, the Jesus will be coming to Earth, and the aliens will join them, and we will rise. Excuse me.
Well, that's the demons coming out, and you're right there.
It's them demons coming out. I got to put them back in with a little sip of Jack. All right, we're going into like 3 hours of overtime here.
Oh, shit.
Nick Wright can never be wrong. I know it's like fucking... What time is it over there?
It's 1:30 in the afternoon.
In the afternoon?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Let me tell you something. It's 11:30 here almost at night.
Oh, my God.
What is the future like? What does tomorrow
It's amazing,
bring?
actually. The weather is beautiful out here. It's blue skies. Let me just show you.
Yeah, it looks great out there. Let's get a look.
I got
Look at that
blue
shit.
skies there.
Not a chemtrail in sight. Why is that?
Oh, don't you worry about that. They go over.
Oh, you're not exempt from that program.
No.
Do you believe in chemtrails?
Yeah, I believe they're doing it. I've seen, I mean, as much as research in regards to finding that there are pilots out there that have testified to the fact, and you know, that there's images of them in a plane with big fucking drums of chemicals, and so
yeah,
you know, you're flying them up into the air. Well, for what purpose?
I tell you what.
I think there's even the government's come out and say that it's due to the fact that it's combating global warming because it's injecting aluminium into the atmosphere, which reflects the sun and stops us from all being submerged underwater.
Yeah, they're pretty much admitting that fact right now. I mean, they're not even denying that. They are doing cloud seeding, for a long time. They've admitted to that. And
that was in the Olympic Games in China. They were doing it there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know what to me is the most telling evidence is not even the pictures of inside these planes, because who knows what these systems are. I mean, I know what it looks like, but I don't know what's in these tanks. The most telling evidence to me has been, besides me seeing it for myself from the ground, is seeing videos from other planes. So one plane will be basically flying underneath another plane that's blowing out these chemtrails, and it's not condensation. You know what I'm saying? It is such an abundance of cloud formation coming out of these planes that it's not condensation. There's no fucking...
On the same day, you can see a contrail, and you can see the plane going over with the contrail disappearing behind it.
Yep.
And then you can see a chemtrail with the plane going over the skyline with a big bloody great plume going behind it.
Yeah, presumably at the same altitude and similar weather conditions.
Quite a lot higher, like a lot higher.
Yeah. And that would make sense if from what they admitted, that they're trying to block sun rays or whatever the fuck it is from coming into the atmosphere. That would make sense to do it higher in the stratosphere or wherever they're doing it.
Terraforming fucking aliens that give you black eye when they get into your body.
Shit, dude. It always comes back to that, doesn't it? Are you waiting to get abducted? Like, would you rather? Let's play a game. Hold on. Don't even answer that. Let's play a game of would you rather. Hold on. Let's play a game of would you rather. Would you rather be abducted by aliens, which may or may not involve an anal probe, but then at least you'll know and you could remember, like you'll remember everything that happened, or would you rather?
Why would you want to forget an anal probe?
Yeah, true story. I guess there is no or. I think we have our answer here.
What? There's an option here?
You're saying there's more options. No. Let's stick with option A.
It gets better.
You know what? I think there's a lot of people in the world that look forward to being abducted and would love to be abducted by aliens. I'm not sure they realize they will get the anal probe. But it's just that fact of then knowing. You ever see that movie...
Communion?
What?
Communion?
No, not Communion. I've never seen that. There was a movie...
Oh, that's a freaking movie.
Back in the 90s, I want to say. It was not Alive. It was...
Fire in the Sky?
Fire in the Sky, yes!
Yeah.
How true is that story, do you think?
Scary.
That's got to be true.
Well, I guess... Those guys all had their lives ruined from that story. So why would you want to ruin your life by being in that area of America where everybody's just going to think you're a complete and utter freak? Yeah. Why would you want to ruin your whole life by sharing that knowledge? And that guy was gone for all those days. What's he going to run around in the bush for a couple of... Well, I don't know how long it was. A week or something.
Yeah, I think it was about a week. There are actually cases in the U.S. I'm going to see if I can find it up.
Sure, you can go into the bush and run around and then get rid of all your clothes the day before you're going to get found, but you're running around naked in the bush eventually for some period of the time, and then you got to go back into town naked.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make much sense to me. Transported. There are some cases in the U.S. where somebody said that they were abducted or kidnapped. They couldn't really remember, but there is a case. I'm sure I'm not going to be able to find it because I don't know what I'm looking at here. But there was a case where somebody was abducted in, let's say, the East Coast. I think it was New York, like upstate New York. And then they went missing. And then maybe 2 days later, they came to, the next thing that they remembered, that they came to, and they were on the west coast of the U.S. They were in California.
Wow.
And they were just like walking around the fucking woods. And obviously that's not even possible for that to happen normally. Like, okay, I got abducted today, and then tomorrow I'm in California. Unless you flew, but then there'd be a paper trail of you flying. But there are a lot of abduction and kidnapping and missing people's cases where they go missing in one part of the world or the country, and they wound up coming to in another part of the country or the world. And I actually recently...
It sounds like the 4400 storyline or
Yes.
Taken storyline.
Yes. Very much so.
There's a story in New Zealand of these, I don't know if they were hunters or they were Bigfoot researchers or something, but they went into the bush and then they ended up, like at night, all seeing white flashes and then ending up in different areas of the bush.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Bigfoot sighting. Let me bring it on
There's so
screen.
much Bigfoot stuff out
Let me bring it on screen here. We'll do another 2 hours about Bigfoot. Monster Hunter reveals terrifying British Bigfoot encounter. This may or... No, this is not...
And they're pointing to Scotland. I like it.
Yeah. Those fucking Scots. Those crazy Scots. Flashes and floaters. Oh, man, we're in super overtime. All right, you know what? I think we're going to have to end it there, man. I'm not going to find that story, but that's one hell of a goddamn story. Hey, congratulations again to N. Hellman 64 in Slack and Blockchains 84 in Discord for winning your 100 free Nexus from the Nexus community this week. Next week, there'll be another giveaway of 150 Nexus. Nick Wright, are you going to enter for next week or what?
I'm in, man. I think I forgot because I did what you did last week, you know, like double entering. Do I enter this week or not? I'm not going to bother doing it again just in case. But somebody was saying, I think it was Spade or somebody was saying that they'll just take you out if you entered twice anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, though. You don't want it to look like you're... Because you can enter as many times as you want. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
But they will...
But you look like a dick.
Yeah, you look like a dick. And even if they pick your name, you didn't win. All right? They're going to pretend like it was somebody else. So I enter only once. Only one time per week. But definitely enter in these free giveaways here again in the Nexus Slack and Discord channels. There is... I don't know how to invite people to these fucking things. So if you do, Facebook, Nick Wright, he will...
You got to send an invite via email to admin at the moment.
Yeah, personal message Nick Wright every day for the next week. I'm sure he won't mind. But you could
asking for access to Nexus Slack channel, which I have to ask for my own account.
I gotta ask somebody else if I can give you access to that Slack channel. Thank you for joining me this week. Hey, listen, I really, really fucking appreciate it. The next couple weeks, I'm certain that I'm gonna be solo here. So we've been discussing it. Yeah, Moses and I have been discussing this for the past 2 or 3 weeks about the inevitability of needing to bring in some special guests here, some co-hosts. And I appreciate you coming in for the impromptu, you, I, and Jack Daniels. I feel like we've done a fantastic job. It's about lunchtime there. You better go eat your turkey sandwich or your wife will get mad at you.
Yep, she's put the daughter down, so we're going out shopping and after the daughter wakes up, I think.
Oh, fantastic. My son would not take a fucking nap today. And we went out. We walked the dogs for about a mile. And I thought after that he was going to be done. This dude was up.
Gets them.
No, he was up playing with Legos and Da Vinci blocks and all sorts of shit. Ridiculous, man. The kid nap is the parent nap. I look forward to that nap on Fridays so much. So much.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming in and joining me this week. I will certainly ask you to join me again next week. If I was going to have either Keith come in studio or maybe Mike Heiss, one of these guys join me, maybe John Vibes again. We had a good time with John Vibes talking about what we talked about. But Nick, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, brother.
We've set a record here. I think we're 3 hours deep here.
Wow.
9,
That's
10,
awesome.
11. We're 3.5 hours long. We're doing a Joe Rogan podcast here.
Yeah, that's it.
That's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what it needs to be. I almost feel like Crypto and Chat is not the appropriate name for this show anymore because we don't talk about crypto that much. But Shillin' and Chillin' is a way better name.
Shillin' and Chilling's a cool name, man.
That's a dope fucking name for a show. Our friend Paul suggested that. I think we might change the name to Shillin' and Chillin'. If we find ourselves not talking about crypto too much, Shillin' and Chillin' might be the new name. So look forward.
Yeah, it's a good name.
I'm looking forward to that shit. All right, Nick, I'll let you go. I got to get upstairs and lay down with the wife. You know how that goes. Happy wife, happy life.
That's it.
Hopefully I'll see you next week.
Yep. Look forward to it.
All right. Hey, social media. Where can they find you?
Yeah, that's a good one. Just look up Nick Wright. Or you can look up my my business profile, which is Bitcoin Buddy, on Facebook. And I help people through getting to know all about cryptocurrency.
That's right, Bitcoin Buddy. You duped us on that 1 week. I'm like, oh, Bitcoin Buddy win. And we're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yo, that's me, guys. It's just me.
That's me, guys.
That's awesome. All right, Nick, it was a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much. I will talk to you.
Thanks, everybody. Stacy.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you to the chat, and I'll probably talk to you next week.
Look forward to it, bro. See you later. Have
a good one. Bye. All right, everybody. That was Nick Wright. He ain't never wrong. Ever, 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 ever. You know what? I doubt there's anybody still even with us here. Let's see. We got one viewer in the YouTube. No, we got one viewer in the Facebook. No viewers on the YouTube. Which means success. A successful show. There's a whole bunch of shit I didn't touch on as far as this booming market is concerned. I had a couple theories. Post-tax season being one of them. George Soros money being another. Impending war with Syria. You know, people trying to move their money out of the fiat facilities into crypto. The tariffs, the Trump tariffs. That was something that I didn't mention. I kept forgetting to look. And Bittrex opening up new account registrations. There's no doubt about it that Nexus is a safe bet for all your crypto needs. I think I closed out all of those I closed all those tabs out. Thank you for joining me. I thank Nick Wright again wholeheartedly for joining me, or else it would have been a whole lot of solo rambling. And congratulations to those individuals for winning the Nexus community giveaways. Again, there will be 150 Nexus given away. I want to assume to one Slack and one Discord Nexus member next week. So ask us about that. If you're interested and you don't know how to get into those giveaways, hit us up on the Corrected Axiom Facebook or YouTube page, and we will certainly give you whatever information that we can. Again, we're trying to build up our YouTube channel to what it once was. So let me bring you in here over to the tubes. Let's go to the Corrected Axiom YouTube page. It's very lackluster. Let me close this Skype so you can see. We're up to 120 subscribers, which just from this show alone, we're up 2 subscribers. So I'm very proud of that. Visit the Corrected Axiom YouTube channel. We're going to start transitioning off of Facebook, more onto YouTube, and then we'll probably dual stream on Twitter with Periscope. We really want to start funneling off of Facebook, though. It's very easy to outreach on Facebook, but, you know, nobody really wants to be on Facebook, these data mining whores. So we're going to try to transition more into the YouTube realm. We do not monetize our videos at this point. We're not even able to. I think you need 1,000 subscribers to monetize, so we're not monetizing these videos. I'll cut a bunch of clips up from this week's episode in the next couple days. Probably by Monday night, I'll have these uploaded, and you could see them. I mean, you can see right here we have Jordan Page confirms Pizzagate. Good versus Evil. I had somebody tell me that they watched this video clip here of Good versus Evil from last week's episode. Let me turn on the audio here.
Is a descendant of 33 Degree
of Jordan Page talking about.
And he says that he went to Scotland and snuck into one of their castles there because he knew the handshake and he knew the secret the secret words.
There I am.
And he stole this book in order to to break his blood curse on his family. And he told me that he took the book out to like this peninsula by himself in this little rental car in Scotland. And and the whole thing is he has to read the incantation that cursed his family. He has to read it in reverse. All right. So he's reading it in reverse. And he says that he this uncontrollable urge to yawn came over him and he couldn't close his mouth. He was physically trying to close his mouth but couldn't. It was like some force was stopping him from completing the ceremony.
I'm going to cover Moses, so it's me from last week and me
got back
from this
going
week.
And again, he says the entire car got covered in flies. Like he couldn't see out his windows. The car was entirely covered in millions of flies. And he got so freaked out by the experience, he just drove off and never completed it because it was like almost physically impossible to get through it.
We were getting a lot of shit last week in the chat. I said chack. In the chat from some trolls, but let me tell you something about Jordan Page. Jordan Page, not only being a fantabulous musician, really knows his shit when it comes to this topic. He has met more people than I have, I'm sure. He's traveled way more than I have. But he has certainly talked to more people and been involved with more people of this nature than I have on this topic. Incredible. I suggest that you check out our YouTube channel, please, to get these kind of clips. I'm going to officially change the name of episode 25 from Doc Solo to Nick Wright. Again, big shout out to Nick Wright. I'm gonna send you some Nexus just as an appreciation. I know you'll probably tell me that you don't need it, or I don't have to, but I'm gonna send you Nexus from the Coax account. I'm gonna send you 10 Nexus for helping me host this week's show, impromptu as such. But we're looking to build up this YouTube channel, so really we would appreciate it if you shared not only the YouTube channel, the Facebook, as long as we're on there, our Twitter account, which is all Corrected Axiom. You can find us. You could also find us either as Corrected Axiom or Moses Flows or Doc Risk. That's RIZK on SoundCloud, on Facebook, on YouTube, all of these things. All the different social media accounts. You'll even find us on DTube, suckers, if you know about DTube. I'm very proud that we talked about crypto this week because usually we skim on crypto and then we talk about a whole bunch of other crazy shit. But knowing that Moses wasn't going to be here to bounce a whole bunch of crazy ideas off of, I knew how to plan some crypto shit. But one other video I want to show you guys, which is really the heart. Hold up. Which is really the heart of the Crypto and Chat YouTube channel, or excuse me, the Corrected Axiom YouTube channel. The Crypto and Chat clips, I should say, is shit like this clip that I'm going to show you right now, which is titled Episode 23, All Hail King Vare. Now, I suggest anybody still watching this crazy long episode of this fucking show that you share this with Roger Ver, because it is just comedy after all. I think I'm going to throw up. You guys might catch me throwing up. I might pull a Brendan Schaub on this motherfucking podcast right now. I want to play this clip.
I got to go.
It's
so
6 minutes, but we're in goatee.
Goatee, bro.
Satoshi's
Vision Conference.
I'm going to skip ahead on a second here. Go ahead. This is the magic of this show.
I happened to catch this ridiculous scene from this Bitcoin Cash conference called Satoshi's Vision.
All right, let's skip ahead now. Now that you know the context.
This bandwidth problem is going to be...
Let's skip way ahead here. This is the best part. This is a Brooklyn accent. This is so sketchy. I shouldn't even be re-showing this. There we go.
I'm Case Coward.
King
Ver.
This is it. Wait, hold on. I'm blocking myself. Hold on.
You long time.
King Ver, love you wrong time.
King Ver will be choosing a special woman to his hotel room from the conference every 2 hours. Satoshi's Vision.
Dishwash. Satoshi's Vision. We're going to hell. I'm getting fired. Everything's going wrong.
A whole bunch of
I
inside
haven't been
jokes.
fired yet. Not yet.
It's all going wrong, man. It's all going wrong.
I love the Asian people, so
We can't even use any of what we just did.
this is the magic.
He will destroy us.
42 lives on this day.
King Ver.
This just in the ticker. King Ver claims 42 lives on this day.
King Ver claims the crotch of his rivals. In the Battle of the Bastards, King Ver.
Look, this is the magic, all right? This is the magic of this show. This is the magic of this show, all right? So you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Correct at Axiom, please. You need to subscribe to this channel. Share it with your buddies. Share it with your friends, with your family. We're going to do this show every Friday, even if Moses isn't going to be here because he's about to have a baby. We're going to do this show every Friday. Now, I am going to skip a week coming up. I got some family time I got to do. We're going to take the boy to a water park. A water park? I can't talk. I've had about 4 glasses of Jack and Coke here. But with that being said, every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch us here on Crypto and Chat. Very happy to have you here with us. Thank you once again for joining us. I want to give a big shout out again to Nick Wright. This is the longest outro ever. I want to give a big shout out to Nexus Earth. I want to give another big shout out to anybody still watching, which is literally nobody. So if you happen to still be watching this, keyword, look, here's the secret word, pineapple pussy punch. If you text me or message me the secret keyword that I just said, I will send you 5 Nexus from my personal stash just to prove that you have watched this video that long. All right? I'm not going to repeat the secret keyword, but I will tell you that it is very specific and very specific. The specific Pacific. All right, we're going to quit the old Skype program here. We're going to start closing out some tabs. I got to piss. That's how you know the show is over. I got to piss. All right, guys. We're going to ride out to one of my very own songs called Seize the Opportunity. 2014. Recorded in 2014.
Year of the 7.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
I
See you
need
next
to
week.
focus on the things I need the most. If you see my hand extended, it's a means to reach my goals, not a means to bleed a stone like parasites would leech a host. Take the path they leave alone, no need to know you lead your own. I think I need to make a toast to the independent few who make the most of what they see. Through an independent view, clarity is like a diamond under pressure from the truth. They undermine truth with another lie to underline the oppression on the youth. It's depressing, they prescribe this pill to you to keep you loose, but frequencies inside their music tighten up the mental noose. If ever was it detrimental, now's the time to leave the coop. Turn the TV off and see what life was meant to be for you. Put your hands to the sky if you made it. Put your middle fingers up if they hate it. Keep your middle fingers up for the haters. Seize the opportunity, it's right for the taking. Put your hands to the sky if you made it. Put your middle fingers up if they hate it. Keep your middle fingers up for the haters. Seize the opportunity, it's right for the taking. I made my own path and I laugh at the haters still on pause. No need to hold back. Matter of fact, I'll show you all my flaws. Rock the stage to no applause. I should show you both my balls. Most would fall and feel defeat, but me, I rose up over all. Cause fingers. Obstacles will come, but you gotta overcome. Obstacles will come, but you gotta overcome. Obstacles will come, but you gotta overcome. You need to fill your heart with love until your life is overrun. Put your hands to the sky if you made it. Put your middle fingers up if they hate it. Keep your middle fingers up for the haters. Seize the opportunity, it's right for the taking. Put your hands to the sky if you made it. Put your middle fingers up if they hate it. Keep your middle fingers up for the haters. Seize the opportunity, it's right for the taking. It's a feeling I can't explain. Come on. No heart could be the same as this. The pineal in my brain is an artist trained to see the differences. Subtle but significant, like whispers while we're intimate. Ruled by the omnipotent, we struggle with significance. No different like when light inside a prism gets reflected. We're connected on a spectrum, separate levels of dimensions. My senses getting heightened, there's a sense I've been enlightened. Motivation to let you know my soul inside has been ignited. Bodily my life is guided by the light inside it. You feel it, don't fight it, reveal it, don't hide or disguise it. And I know what time has come to stand our ground and never run. When our enemies approach, they're merely candles in the sun. Illuminate your outlook, envision what you have become. Listen to the pounding drum and ignore the axiom. Follow only when you're lost, believe yourself if you find that you made it out this maze. And put your hands to the sky.
Somebody actually saw the pineapple pussy stash. Tough guy. I'm gonna send you some Nexus. Send me your Nexus address. Tough guy. Send me your pineapple pussy stash Nexus address. I'm gonna send you some Nexus from my personal stash. Thank you for joining us. See you later.